I'm so happy that we're in October because that means in South Carolina we're finally starting hoodie season, and that just makes me so damn happy. What's up, guys? So, not too long ago, 8bitdo kind of shadow dropped, or at least to me shadow dropped, a new Bluetooth adapter. I covered the Super Nintendo one a few months ago, so I'll put a card up here so you can go and watch that if you want to. And since then, I've collected both the NES and the Sega Genesis adapters. We might do a video on those at some point, but not right now. I recently got my hands on their newest Bluetooth adapter for the PlayStation. The other adapters have been out for a while, so you've probably seen stuff on them before. But this one is fairly new, having only been out for about 2 months at this point, I think. I finally got my hands on one, I finally got to try it out, and I wanted to share it with you guys because this thing is pretty freaking neat. Let's bring you over to the table. I'll show you what little bit of an unboxing there is, and then we'll plug it up, we'll set it up, and we'll try, and then we'll set it up, and we'll see how many different controllers it can connect to, and how good they actually are for the PlayStation. So let's do that right now. All right. Let's do it. Just like the last one, this is a very, very simple unboxing here. As you can see, it just pulls right out. You've got your little, they left it in there. You've got your little USB cable here for updating the firmware on the guy. USB-C this time, which is very nice to see. You can also use it as a Bluetooth receiver if your computer is not equipped with that. You can just plug this guy into this, plug this into your computer, and this will now act as your Bluetooth receiver. And then you've got the guy itself. Now, if you couldn't tell, this is designed to look just like the connector on a PlayStation 1 controller. So here we have the PlayStation 1 connector. It's this nice, smoothish gray plastic, and the 8bitdo one here is pretty damn close, as you can see. The actual connector bits are also pretty close. The 8bitdo one's actually a touch smaller. As you can see here, the Sony one here extends out just ever so slightly past the width of the 8bitdo one. That could actually be a good thing because it's not going to be as snug of a fit in the PlayStation, which means getting it in and out won't be near as hard as it was on the Super Nintendo one. Whereas on the thickness here, on the thickness of the connector itself, they are pretty much identical. Like, I don't feel a lip on either side that I wouldn't expect to feel from something other than like the fillet around the edge of this. As expected, it does feel like it is a cheaper plastic than it was on the Sony controller, but this thing's pretty dang inexpensive for what it does, so I can forgive them for cutting a few corners if they have to do like a lesser quality plastic. And that's not to say that I'm saying that this is a cheap plastic. It just feels different than the original Sony one. It's important to remember that not all plastics are created equally, and just because a plastic feels cheaper than a different plastic does not mean it's inherently worse. This still feels very, very solid in the hand. There's absolutely no give to it whenever you squeeze on it. I have absolutely no concerns about this thing's life expectancy. I have a feeling this thing's going to be around for a very long time, so long as the internals don't give out. But yeah, that's a very, very simple unboxing. There's not even any paperwork in this guy. All the instructions you need are on the back of the box here, your pairing information, and then it gives a list of compatible controllers, which that's not to say that these are the only controllers that are compatible with it. It's just these are the ones that have been tested and are assured to work. Now, we're going to go test a bunch of different controllers on this guy, and given that it's for the PlayStation and PlayStation 2, you're probably going to want something with dual analog sticks. So we're going to work within that range of controllers, stuff with dual analog sticks. So I've got a DualSense controller here, I've got an Xbox 360 controller, I've got a PS4 controller, I've got a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, I've got the 8bitdo Pro 2 controller. So we're going to test all of these out to see how they will behave with it. And it doesn't say that it's compatible with it, but I also want to try a PS3 controller here because this guy here has the same form factor as the PS2 and the PlayStation 1 controllers. So this would be the ideal controller if it works. Okay, so just to establish that everything is working as expected, I do have a regular PlayStation 2 controller here that I'm using to play Sly Cooper, and everything seems to be in working order. The screen's a little dark in my view, but that's a problem with the TV itself doing that, where dark things get darker for some reason. It does say it works with the PlayStation or the PlayStation 2, so we're gonna do PlayStation 2 first, and then I'm gonna test it out with Spyro the Dragon and Ape Escape. I do promise Ape Escape is coming back. It's been difficult for me to find time to record everything, but that will be returning soon. Anyway, since we've got Sly Cooper loaded up, I'm going to unplug the PlayStation 2 controller, and it pauses when the controller disconnects. So we've got our guy here. Let me twist the camera down so you can see what I'm about to be doing. We're gonna plug this guy into the controller port. The blue light here is blinking, as you can see. And so we need to put our controller into pairing mode. So we're going to start with a DualShock 4. And I have my iPad here so I can look up how to put all these controllers into their pairing modes because I don't remember. So to put the PS4 in the controller into pairing mode, you're going to hold down the share button and the PlayStation button until the back here starts flashing like that. And then you're gonna press this button here on the front of the little dongle here to put it into pairing mode. And when they find each other, which they just did, the controller will vibrate, the bar will go solid, and the blue light here will go solid. And as you can see, it is working as expected in this level, in this part. And now I'm playing Sly Cooper on the PS2 with a PS4 controller. And as you can see, the input lag is not terrible. I think I said this in the last video. It's about what you would expect for a Bluetooth connection. You know, it's what you'd expect for a Bluetooth connection. And keep in mind, this is the PlayStation 2 going through a level hike HDMI converter to the HD TV. So you can judge for yourself what you think of that input lag. To me though, that's perfectly usable. All right, so let's disconnect this controller. You can disconnect the controller to hook up another one simply by pressing the red button on the front of the thing again. It will put it back into pairing mode and it will disconnect from the controller that you have connected to it. So the DualSense controller goes into pairing mode the same way. You hold share and the PlayStation button until the light starts flashing. And it found it almost instantly because the thing was in pairing mode still, and it found this almost instantly, as you can tell by the solid colors. And that just feels really good. This just reminds me I need to play Sly Cooper again. All right, let's swap it out. Let's try the Xbox 360 controller. We'll get this guy into pairing mode. And this one didn't rumble, but the controller thing on the system went solid, and the controller here went solid. And it's important to note on a controller like this that doesn't have the same exact layout, you know, it's A, B, X, and Y versus X, circle, square, and triangle. The position that the buttons were in is still the same. Let's try the Switch Pro controller. Hold down the button. Tilts in pairing mode and connects almost immediately. This just feels illegal, you know? A Nintendo controller playing a PlayStation game. It's just, I feel like I shouldn't be able to do this, but I can, and it feels great. Alrighty, let's do it again with the 8bitdo Pro 2 controller. I feel like this is gonna wanna be in X input mode. It didn't specify on the box. It just says you can do it with the Pro 2. It might not matter, but I'm gonna put it into X mode, which as you can see on the switch back here, it's the one on the far right. And then we turn it on. And then we need to put it into pairing mode, I would assume. So it's in pairing mode now. Found it almost immediately. That's working really well. And one last one. All right, so there is a process for the PS3 controller for the Sega Genesis receiver, but I don't think it's worth going through the hassle of doing that, because what it does is it takes your controller, and this is all to say that I don't even know if it would work with this guy, but what it does is it takes your controller and links them to, and it would link them together like a PlayStation 3, this links to a PlayStation 3. So when this is active, you could just turn this controller on and it would start working. But then it would delink it from your PlayStation 3, so you'd have to keep going back and forth, and it's a process to get it linked to this, and so I just don't think that that's a good idea. I don't think that that's worth it. And again, that was for the Sega Genesis controller, not even this one. So this one, I don't even know if that's built into this. I don't even know if support for that's built into this guy. It probably isn't. And honestly, I don't even know if you'd want to do that, because the DualSense and the DualShock 4 both felt phenomenal to play this. So if you can get away with just having a DualShock 4 or a DualSense controller to do this, this feels exactly like you'd want it to. And I personally don't know why you'd want anything else, honestly. And since I said we'd test it on the PlayStation, let's test it on the PlayStation. There we go. One good thing to mention too, if the last controller that you used will be able to pair up immediately, and you don't have to like repair it every time. Speaking of Insomniac, Spider-Man 2 comes out soon. Good Lord, I'm excited. And so, as you can see, the motion does work. Or the D-pad works for movement, the analog stick works. And there, like, I'm not familiar with Spyro, I haven't played it very much, so there's your input lag. You tell me if that's like an expected amount. Good Lord, I feel like I just suck at this. So just like the Super Nintendo one, this is a really nice piece of kit. And if it's something that fills a need in your life, it's definitely something you should consider picking up, especially since it's only 25 bucks. I might soon be investing in a second one so I can just have my PlayStation set up for use with wireless controllers. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to bringing you even more review videos like this as the days go on. So again, thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, y'all.